Today, I'm really happy to say that we got Vitalii Bulynin.
There is a combination of indicators which somehow opens the holy grail for you. It's not the last day on the market, there is always tomorrow.
Wow, really?
Now everyone just keeps on trading gold. Sometimes you don't really need a leverage of 1 to 2,000. You need a leverage of 1 to 5,000. Open the door a little bit and there is like a whole universe. And boy, I was wrong.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the TradeInformer Podcast. Today, I'm really happy to say that we got Vitalii Bulynin, who is, I would say, a friend of mine. He's also, I know, a big fan of TradeInformer.com. And he's also the CEO and founder of a relatively new broker called Versus Trade. So we're going to be talking about Vitalii's background, what's happening at Versus Trade, and general market topics like all the crazy stuff that's happening with gold. So, Vitalii, maybe first to kick off, can you talk a bit about your background? You're I would say, one of the longest standing people I know who's in the industry. You've been involved in trading for a long time. Can you sort of talk about how you ended up in the position you're in now?
First, thank you for asking me to join your amazing podcast. I'm one of the early adopters, I need to say, of the TradeInformer.
Yeah.
I still remember it with the old name. I was the big promoter of yours. I was like, keep on telling all of my friends from the industry, you have to check this, you have to check this. The guys keep on dropping some serious bombs there, honestly. So if you're not checking it yet, you should start. And getting back to how it all started by myself, I've started this back in 2005, I think. I was in my uni back then, just a young guy in my 20s, early 20s. And I was just browsing the internet, as we all do, looking for some memes.
Yeah.
And I stumbled upon the advertising of the Forex trading. Back then, it was like most of the time simply Forex trading, and it was named like this, trading Forex, stuff like that. And I got really blown away with the idea that you can do money there over the internet. And it somehow hooked me up with the fact that I'm going to be one of those guys from the Charlie Sheen and Michael Douglas movies, the Wall Street.
Ferrari, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, like trading, things like that. And I've started to dig more and more. And I became like really, really obsessed with this. It was in 2005. It was MT3 back then, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Yeah, MT3, and the maximum leverage you would get yourself was around like 1 to 100. It was considered like as a roller coaster bonanza.
Yeah.
No fifth digits, only 4 digits of trading and spreads. It was quite different back then. And I've started to read all the materials, go over the forums. There was forums like Reddit now, but back then there was a golden era of forums back then. And I really, really got myself, they dragged me back.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is how it all started. I opened my first trading account. It was with, I don't know, it counts as a product placement or no? It was FX Pro.
Wow. Yeah.
But their name,
bleep it out afterwards, yeah.
Their name was totally different back then. They used to call themselves Brizan.
All right.
Those who are around for longer times, they maybe keep they know this name. And so I was trading as a trader, as a, I would say, retail guy for almost 5 years, from 2005 till 2010. I've managed to create small kind of like a fund, friends, family, and some other guys, they joined us, and I got really, really lucky. I was feeling the market back then. So we were trading, I was trading quite the big lots, and it was very, very interesting and new for me. Like I was 22, 23, 24, and the lots were trading around 300, 400 lots, in a single ticket.
Wow.
It was big. It was honestly big. Now it feels like it was a dream. It feels like it was not even with me, because it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the market changed, and I said to myself, okay, I don't feel it anymore, and I want to go and join the brokerage company to see how it all works. That's the first part of my story.
Yeah. And what do you think has changed in sort of training in the intervening period, right? I mean, if you are a trader, do you think it's much more difficult to make money from the markets relative to when you first started, or no?
I honestly think that nowadays it's more easier. It's much easier to make money. And we as a brokers, we can see it. The traders in general, the retail traders, they started to trade more good, I would say.
Yeah.
The results is more and more positive. Back then, there was lack of information, even though there was these forums, but it was more a theoretical thing. We were all, don't get me wrong, it was like a community, most of the time Russian speaking community back then. And we were quite limited in the information. We were reading some old books like, I don't know, Bill Williams or Murphy, Candlestick Analysis, Steve Neeson, the books which was published in 80s. And we were just getting them back then. They were translated in Russian and we were reading them. And it was like a holy Bible, you know, like some sacred science, like secret knowledge. And we were going and trying to implement those ideas or those patterns on the market, which was far more ahead. And we got most of the time terminated back then. While in contrary now, you can get yourself over the YouTube, right, where we are.
Yep.
And you can go to TikTok or any other platform, got yourself a mentor quite fast, and the guy will be supplying you with a new, recent things which you can basically implement. So it was more hard than it is now. What was the big thing is that when the MT4 rolls in, when they issued an MT4, and the biggest part was that with MT4, they have issued the MQL, the meta quotes, they have issued MQL language, which was a language, software engineering, how you call it, the programming language, which allows you to create your own indicators.
Yeah.
Back then in MT3, we were only using the preset ones, like moving average or RSI or stochastic or MACD, and you couldn't really change it much. You can open it there and you can just like move the period of moving average, but nothing more. And when the MQL appears, it was like a bomb. Because everyone just realized, oh, I can really create my own indicator, just put it into to compile it, and then honestly put it and implement it in this very trading platform. And people started to send it each other over the forums. It was a golden era, pure golden. And this opened the Pandora box. So people started to create EAs and go on and go on and go on. So it all served as a foundation of where we are now.
Yeah.
So many solutions for the retail guy. You can download this and just start using it to trade. So now it's more easy to trade.
Yeah. And you were a trader yourself, and now you've moved into working at brokers,
Yeah.
which I think you've been doing for 15 years or so. Do you see any kind of common patterns in terms of who is profitable and what strategies work, and also who the people who are running those strategies are? Or is it just quite random? There's just, lots of people around the world who have figured out some esoteric way of making money from the markets, and there's no sort of consistency in terms of what they're doing and who they are.
This is also happening, esoteric thing.
Yeah.
Back then, and I think even now, you can use yourself some esoteric guy who can go and use the astrology to help you. Sometimes I think, maybe, why not? It took me some time to acknowledge the fact, which I've been reading for, much earlier, that it's not about the strategy, it's more about the risk management and your psychology, how you basically act as a trader.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge the market, drops on you is that you, against yourself, against your own counterintuitive and counter-logical emotions and moves, the market doesn't really know and care about you. So I would say that the people who are thinking of it from the perspective of the money management, they are going more long run things. They can sustain longer. Those who still believe that there is some holy grail And the Holy Grail was like a meme thing back then in those times. We were all looking for the Grail. We were seriously thinking that there is a combination of indicators or a combination of settings in this specific given indicator, which somehow opens the Holy Grail for you, which was not the case at all. You can effectively flip a coin, and if you will run your positions money management wise, sorry for that, you will sustain.
Yeah. And so you do see these people who are just like consistently making money over the long term.
It's very, very small amount, honestly. It's like very, very small amount. And at some point, if we see this as a funnel where the CFD online trading is an entry level, because it's just been spreading all over the internet and it's quite easy for the young guy to stumble upon and then just jumps in. Those who at some point realize that the money management and the risk management goes first, the first thing what they seek is to decrease their leverage. Sometimes you don't really need a leverage of 1 to 2,000.
What? Really?
You need a leverage of 1 to 5,000. Unlimited leverage.
Okay, nice. Well, we're talking in whatever month it is, February of 2026. I would say the past 3 to 6 months has been, I would say, the most interesting time since probably COVID. And maybe for definitely there's people I've spoken to who've been in the industry for a long time who will say, I've never seen something like this, I have a friend who works on a dealing desk who is complaining about he feels like he's having to work 16 hours a day. He's never allowed home. So what has that been like for you as we haven't really discussed it, but obviously you've started your new broker Versus Trades and you went live kind of taking clients and so on in the middle of last year. That sort of coincided with this very strange period in gold trading. So first of all, have you seen something like this before? And secondly, just what has it been like trying to run a broker in this kind of very volatile period of time, basically?
The first thing which came into my mind, relatively comparable, it was the Swiss franc thing in 2014, I think it was, when they just changed.
I think 15, but yeah.
Yeah, 15 years, you're right. And since then, the COVID was cool, but
super cool.
Trading wise, right? Don't get me wrong. We can cut it, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's not long time. I've never seen for an asset which is so heavily capitalized, or how you call it, which has so many liquidity in it, growing so consistently, when all the people all over the world just looking at it, it keeps on buying, and the inflow of money, it just keeps on going, and it just keeps on growing. And then this flash crash, which we have, was like last 2 days, 28, 29 or something like that of January. I've never seen anything like that, given the fact how heavy the asset is. You could see this in some, I don't know, JBP yen sometimes. Back then it was very volatile, or some not so capitalized, not so liquid stocks. But with gold, which in our industry became, the main instrument, no, I never seen anything like that. That was shocking thing. We as a Versus Trade, we came quite well prepared, honestly, for this. And the main reason is the people, the people who we are, who worked at Versus Trade. Versus Trade is not just me. Moreover, Versus Trade, it's not me at all. I'm just one guy, and we have plenty of bright-minded individuals who are calculating, who are implementing, who are developing. So our risk team consists of sharp-minded professionals. So I would say, getting closer to the end of the year, we were thinking of, okay, we need to keep an eye on the NOP, an open position of all the clients, because it's the end of the year. Some big boys, they maybe want to close their positions or to fix some trading results, and then in January this started to happen. So we were already on the how to say, slight notch towards being more cautious.
Yeah.
And we just start to use the hedging much more active.
Yeah.
rather than we were due in the normal market situation. And getting closer to the end of February, we were okay.
Yeah.
We were not in a very, very bad position, but the last few days of January, it just changed everything, 180 degrees. So it was a challenge for us as a new kid around the block, but I think, again, thanks to our team, we've made it quite good.
Okay, and I think if you looked in the run up to that market, right, you had some brokers offering crazy deals in terms of to the end. I mean, the end customer might not be aware of this, end trader, but obviously they might see spreads that are crazy. That's that from my point of view. You then have commercial deals with partners and things like that, which seem kind of unsustainable if gold keeps going up. Do you think companies are going to be more cautious, or do you think basically that they kind of lucked out at the end of January and they'll now forget everything that happened before that and keep doing what they were doing before?
I really, really want for everyone to start being more cautious, because, when the waters are calm, you can really offer everything that you just mentioned. You can start to do, final sale broker-wise, the zero or negative spreads, 5-6 digit leverage, 6-digit leverage or things like that, or offering some crazy deals to marketing, CPA, things like that. But it only sustain when the market is in a, I would say, calm situation. And when something hits the fan, we see how it goes south.
Yeah.
And I really think, I really want to believe that it will bring a huge exclamation mark or a red flag for the risk teams in-house, for the business development teams of the brokerage companies, that it's not the last day on the market. There is always tomorrow.
Yeah.
There is always tomorrow. Please don't try to run into this race to the bottom while offering something crazy which is not sustainable, because the market will hit you in the most unpredictable way. And I mean, don't get me wrong, if we will not have this last day of January,
some people I think would have gone out of business.
Absolutely. Some people would have gone out of not just business.
Yeah. I mean, and on that point, right? I mean, we're talking about it almost like insiders who sort of understand the business model. But if you're talking to, say, the end trader who's thinking about trading, let's say with Versus Trade or some other broker, what would you sort of say to them if they're looking at what you're offering and they're going, okay, well, I can get, say, negative spreads at this other company. I mean, what do you think this person should know about the risk of trading with that company, right? Because I think it's not obvious. I think if you're an end trader, you can just end up looking at surface level price and go, okay, well, this is it's like anything. You go, okay, well, this is a cheaper option, so I'll just go for that, right?
As a retail trader, as an end user, I think it's very important to use your logic. If somebody is offering you something which even as a new coming trader you see is too good to be true, there might be the question of sustainability of this broker. And you, even when you are just like a retail customer, you put yourself in a counterparty risk with sending your money over there. So I would say just try to see what makes sense for yourself. If as a client you see that the leverage is within some normal market situation and the gold or any other asset is not going super crazy and the offerings is not super crazy from the broker side, then it's okay for you to join. But in versus trade, first, why we call versus, we have this versus pairs, versus instruments, where you can trade one asset against the other. And I believe that now everyone just keeps on trading gold. They all trade gold, but the silver acts even more volatile rather than gold. There are plenty of other instruments which you can trade as a trader. Just if you are just starting your career as a trader, try to avoid this super red ocean trading instruments where where it's like the cardiogram, the market is like super crazy. Maybe you can go and try yourself something new. You can try it again. I'm going back to versus pairs, right? You can trade something interesting like Tesla against Ford, or I don't know, Pepsi-Cola against Coca-Cola. But even if it's not just about stocks, try to trade some euro dollar. The volatility there is not so high, but you can predict as a trader a bit more rather than just skyrocketing of an asset which goes up just because it goes.
Yeah. Can you talk a bit more about the versus pairs, right? Because it's quite kind of a unique product, and I think you built it in-house, right? You didn't. This is something you guys made, basically.
Yes.
Because I think, if you're the average person, you might not really get what that is. So how does it actually work?
We come to the favorite part. So the versus pairs, which we are offering in versus trade, is something we've built in-house, something what is actually you can't see it anywhere else apart from us, from the retail brokerage perspective. And it allows, as a client, a possibility to trade one asset against the other asset. Most of the times when you trade, I don't know, euro dollar, it's how much dollars, what you can see at the very end, is how much dollars are currently paid for 1 euro.
Yeah.
The gold, it's XAU USD, again, how much dollars get paid in the gold. But what if you determine a price of one asset in a way of how much of the other asset should be given for 1 unit of the first asset, right? It's based on quote currencies or based on quote position. So you can put Coca-Cola and Pepsi. If you choose one stock of Coca-Cola, how much of a Pepsi stocks needs to be paid?
Yeah.
And here, what you do, you took volatility of two assets and bring them together.
Yeah.
And as a trader, with opening only one single position, you can get yourself in somehow two-way exposure. So we believe it can gives you not just a trading experience, but a lot of a personal experience. Like it's very polar. Usually people either drink Coke or Pepsi, or they either
Team Coke, Team
Coke.
Yeah.
Android and iPhone is the same. It's rarely you can see the guy having those two at the same time.
Yeah.
We also have Tesla and Ford. So with this, we want somehow to bring something more natural and more personal into the trading. Because how do you associate yourself with the gold or with euro dollar or like nothing? It's just whatever. And if it's Pepsi or iPhone or Tesla or Ford or anything else, Adidas or Nike, it can be something personal. This is what we want to do. We want to bring the personal touch combined with a double volatility and combined with the idea of trying to trade something what you understand. Most of the time, random trader, they don't understand what stands behind euro dollar move. But they can somehow understand if they're following, if they're tech guys,
Pepsi, yeah.
right? Or if they're tech geek guys, they know what would be the release of Samsung or Apple. So we just want to put this all together and make this rivalries affordable and just to bring some more fun into the game.
And has it been popular? Are people trading them?
It works as an attention thing. So people are actively using them as a side instrument. It's not a secret. Nowadays, the gold basically dominates.
Something.
Yeah. It really, really dominates. So most of the clients, they do trade gold. But it was kind of a surprise for me that pretty much every client have traded the versus pairs.
Interesting.
And they keep them in their top 4 or 5 instruments. Not always the second one, but they still goes there. And I don't know, look, I'm like romantic towards it because I was thinking about it for a long time. So I was thinking this is a very cool instrument and people will be amazed. And they are really using it. So yeah, I might say it's not that big success as maybe we expect it to be, but it's there.
Awesome. And are you going to add more? Can we expect, I don't know, McDonald's versus Burger King or something?
Oh,
I don't know if that's even I don't know if
KFC, Taco Bell.
Yeah, something like that.
What would be your favorite if you would create? Go ahead, create us a versus.
That's a good question. Yeah, maybe. What were you going to say?
Can we trade Beatles, Rolling Stones?
Yeah, something like this. Yeah. I reckon we could do that, like
Oasis, Blur.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, you can try and make something like that,
Yeah. Like we were, it gets closer to this poly market thing where people basically trade events.
Yeah.
So you can put the number of impressions or how many streams of Mariah Carey Christmas song will be there. This is a bet. So you can create Mariah Carey Christmas song and then George Michael Christmas song. Here is your verses.
It's going to be paid. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah.
It's an endless possibility, honestly. So yeah, things like that.
And do you have any other sort of big, it's obviously early days still, 2026. Do you have any big plans or releases upcoming for Versus Trade that you can share? Or is it all secret intel?
That's not of a secret. We are actively expanding in many countries. We're looking forward to expand now in Thailand. We're looking towards Vietnam. This is the countries where we'd like to leave a footprint soon. And we want to increase the number of Versus pairs. We want to enrich our product offering in terms of some functionality. We're building an enterprise level company, honestly. Every functionality what we have is heavily tested. It never just goes live. It always go to the dev perimeter, and only when we're sure that it's like top-notch product, only then we are launching it. So maybe we are not moving at the super speed we would like to do, but what we really are proud of is that the number of the product, bugs and issues is almost none, because we are testing it so much and we're providing a very, very high level service. So what we want to do again is to keep the same level of customer service and to expand. We want to have more countries.
Nice. And is there anything that sort of surprised you since you started it, right? I mean, because you were obviously senior at a couple of big brokers before, but I think there's quite a big difference between being an employee, even if you're in a senior position, versus having to start and manage your own business. So is there, what's sort of been the big surprise, if any, or what has been the most, the thing that you didn't expect?
When I was starting it, I was pretty much sure that I know at least 80% of knowledge from any kind of department, you name it.
Yeah.
I was pretty much sure that I know like almost everything about back office, payments, dealing, engineering, product, legal, compliance, business development. And boy, I was wrong. Well, because I was just, even being an executive in some big company, you join the board meetings and there is a guy who knows more in this field, and you can always try to be smart and ask him some questions, like, what about that? Without understanding that you really doesn't really know the topic, you're just covering on the very, very top. And now when it's like our own firm, when you have to go deep, I was amazed how much stands behind this surface, and even more, I'm amazed of the team which we have, how deep they are. Most of the time I was thinking, okay, this guy, he's just running this department, or he's just running this product feature.
Not doing anything, yeah.
What are they really doing there?
I could do that, yeah.
Anyone can do that. And then when I just like open the door a little bit, and there's like a whole universe. So I think I want to send a message to the clients, to the traders out there. The brokerage company, when you see it, it's not just a website. It's not just an MT5, MT4 you see. There is like tens or dozens of people behind, smart professionals, going extra miles, working really, really hard to provide you with this service, with this quality of product. And that was the main thing which I was really surprised with, is like how big is the industry in terms of the qualification. So many different people have to come together to create this product to the client, and then the client complained that the spread is not good enough.
Yeah. No, I remember when I was so I wasn't at a CFD broker, but a retail stockbroker, and the number of tiny things, we had our own app and platform and stuff like that, and just tiny features like portfolio performance or being able to see put your finger on the graph of your and kind of
Have a
move it.
crosshair.
Yeah, and I remember the other thing that always sticks out to me is there was a guy in operations who I was kind of friends with, and him talking about just the mechanism of converting, because it's in the UK, right? So converting pounds to dollars, because most people were buying US shares. And I just remember listening to this being like, if you are on the app and you click buy, there's nothing, it's so seamless, right? You see almost nothing.
Absolutely.
And behind the scenes, there's just this insane network and a set of rails and people, there's like 5 people having to work on just this one mechanism. There's about 3 or 4 companies involved, and it's such a simple thing. And I think, and I always just remember that, right? Where you would get customer complaints about stuff, and you almost just want to be like, man, you have no idea the amount of stress and kind of blood, sweat, and tears that has gone into making the thing that you're using, and then it's just some guy being like, why isn't my withdrawal instant or something like that, So I see where you're coming from, basically. Okay, so last question, maybe a bit of a generic one, but obviously it feels to me like the world has kind of gone crazy. I think people are talking about it being similar to the 70s in a lot of ways, but I actually wonder if it'll be worse than the 70s.
I'm not that old.
Nah, I know you're not, but I'm just mean in terms of stuff being, gold going up, inflation is up, everyone is on strike, at least in the UK, so it's deja vu all over again, I think, for boomers maybe anyway. But I mean, from your point of view, if you're a trader in this sort of environment, what do you think you have to be careful of, and what do you think is going to be sort of the thing that moves markets this year? And are you guys, I don't know, going to do any interesting features or things like that to take advantage of that as a broker?
I think it was always the geopolitical factor around, like all the time, right? But now I think it's not geopolitical factor and some other factors. Now it's like just geopolitical factors. We have countries led by people who generate volatility. Thanks, guys, for this. and the effect what we see all over the markets is enormous. It's not just me keep on saying that we're in the new populist era, and the market they are the one as an indicator of this common climate. So it just goes like this. I think as a trader, you have to answer yourself what is your goal for this 2026 is either gain or save. If you want to save, then you should go towards more safe haven instruments. I don't want to do any investment advice here, right? So I'm just saying it in a general way. If you want to gain, you can still benefit from high leverage trading, but you need to use maybe your market money management very, very strict, not to put all the eggs in a single basket, something like that. So geopolitical factor gives you, it's a double-edged sword. It can either give you, crazy opportunities, or if you don't look for some crazy returns, you need just to stay away. Being out of the market, it's also a position. Most of the time people think the position is either, buy and sell. No, when you are cash or something like that, or T-bills, something like that, it's also a position. And I think we have somewhere on the whiteboard in our office an idea that we need to come up with a versus pairs, which will cover this geopolitical thing. Will it be something stick to the actual geopolitics? I don't know, like Greenland,
Greenland
versus Cuba.
Yeah, Venezuela.
Yes. Or it will be something more not so, tangible, like who will get more impressions or something like that. I can't answer now because we're still into this brainstorming, but definitely we will try to bring something new, and just wait a bit.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks, Vitalii, for joining me. And I'm
Thank you very
looking forward
much
to seeing Versus Trade continue to smash it in the next 12 months.
Thank you, David. Thank you, everyone, guys. Have a good one. Bye.